so in this part of the tutorial, part 2, we're going to make the rest of the game to make like Flappy Bird. So we've got our bird. He can move. He can move left, he can move right, and he is going around his background. But there are no other interactions around him, so we're going to set those up. To do that, we're going to add a sprite. We're going to add lightning. We're going to make it look like a storm. We're going to also learn how to make the lightning look like it's flashing. So we grab our lightning. And it's going to be kind of the same as the other ones, but this one's going to look more complicated and challenging than it is. So first we have our lightning. We're going to go to the Events tab. We're going to get the When Clicked button. As we mentioned before, we want to set our lightning to a certain position, and we're going to set ours on the y-axis. We'll set y because we want it to be up and down. We'll just say 180. And then we're going to have it move around. So we'll have it set X to, this is where it gets tricky. You'll go to operators because we want it to move around. And we want it to move randomly. So we're going to do the pick random. We want it to be moving around from a certain point to a certain point. But we want to move from here, in our screen. So we're going to choose, with our X values, we'll say about 240, and then all the way over here, you see down there, it says about negative 240. So we'll do that too. So negative 240 to 240. And so let's see what it does. It do anything? Well, it's doing something, but not a whole lot. So let's see how we finish our code out here. We want it to forever be changing, right? So we have it already set to a certain position, but we want it to change. And we wanted it to change to go downward, to look like it's going down. So we'll change the Y. Just like we changed the clouds, we changed the X to make it go side to side. We're doing the Y to make it look like it's going down. We'll do negative 10. So it looks like it's going down. Perfect. So then we want to set it up so that it's not just going to the same place. It's going to be basically the same as what we just did, a little bit different. So we're actually going to copy this code here, duplicate. We will take this part out. Whoops, I duplicated it. And then we are going to get an if-then control. So if something happens, we want to move if something happens, if the Y position, where is it? There we go. We have to put it into another operator. If the Y position goes below this line here, if it goes below 160, do you see this here on the Y? So we want it to be less than that number, negative 160. If it goes below that, then something will happen. Well, what do we want it to do? We want it to start over, right? So we'll put that in there and see if it works. And it does work. Wonderful. So now we have our lightning. It's going. We want it to flash. So what we're going to do is go to costumes. We have to make our other one because there's only one costume for this. So we're going to duplicate this. We're just going to change the color a little bit. We'll take our white, and what we're going to do is take the paint bucket. We're going to color it inside, and you can do really any color you want to. So we'll do it just like that. And you can change the gradient inside too if you want to. But we'll just do it just like that. We'll go back to our scripts. If we want to change the costume, we talked about doing that for the bird and for the buildings, but some, all these things can happen a different way. So we're going to go to events. We know we want it to change, and we want it to change forever. And it's not an if-then thing. So we know that it's going to be, we'll grab our forever first. And we'll just go to the looks. And we want to switch our costume. We want to switch our costume all the time. To pick, go to operator, pick at random from costumes 1 to 2. As we have over here, costume 1 and costume 2. So then we'll go back to our script and see if that works. It looks like it's flashing. All right, wonderful. So we have our lightning and we have our bird, but nothing's happening if the bird is interacting with lightning. So what we need to do is set up the sequence so that if something happens, then the bird will react to the lightning. So we're going to do it a little bit at a time. It's going to look a little complicated, but it's not. We know if something happens, we want it to happen forever, that this thing is happening. Then we want, if the parrot is touching, if the lightning is touching the parrot, this is the cool part. We're going to go to data. We're going to make a variable, and we're going to type in lives. So now that if something happens, if the lightning is touching the parrot, something's going to happen with lives. And we want to change the lives by negative. Because we don't want them to gain lives, we want them to take them away. That makes sense, right? So if the lightning touches the parrot, we also want to duplicate this code because we want it to go back up. Oops. Want to go back up to where it was. Just delete this part. So we'll set Y to 180 and we'll have them go, across the screen again. And this time we can add a sound. So we're going to add a sound, but we don't want it to be pop. We want it to sound like lightning. So we'll go to sounds. And we're going to go to, we want it to sound like a musical instrument, right? So let's see, we want it to sound like a cymbal. Do we like the cymbal? Oh, maybe not that one. Oh, I think it's percussion. There we go, cymbal. So, or cymbal crash. Let's do that one. We'll do this one. Okay, perfect. So then we'll go back to the script. We'll change the sound to cymbal crash. And every time it hits, you get a sound and the lives change. You see it over here, -1. But they can always change and you can always keep playing. So we'll have to make something else happen. We'll have to have something else happen. We want we'll go back to data. When we want to start the game, we're going to set the lives to 0. So now that when we start the game, we have our lives set to 0. And what else happens with the lives? Well, we add a sprite. We're going to give them some lives. We can find the heart. There we go. We'll give them some lives. So we have a heart. It's large. We're going to make it smaller. We want it to be hard to get. There we go. maybe a little bit smaller. Yeah, excuse me. So there we go. And so when we go to make this script, when the green button is clicked from the start of the game, we want it to hide it first. So we're going to go to looks, we'll hide the heart. We're going to have it wait before it comes out a little bit. But we want them to know that hearts are coming. So we'll have them come out in the beginning. Then we want them to forever come or look like they're coming forever. So then we'll have it go back to looks. We have to unhide it by showing it. Then, like every other sprite, we have to set its position. So we're going to have it go to, we don't want it to be the same spot because then they'll know where to get it. So we're going to go to random position. And it's moving all over the place like it's crazy. So we're going to set it. We want to go to random position, but then we're going to set it to a certain spot. And we're going to have this happen multiple times. So we'll repeat it 100 times. But we don't want it to just go up and down like that either. So we're going to change the X by -5. So there it looks like it's floating across the scene again, just like everything else. Then we have it go back to the beginning. We're going to make it wait a little bit so that it pauses to come back. And we're going to do 30 seconds this time. So it doesn't come up that or look like it's coming up that frequently. And so then you have the hearts. And the same thing we're going to do that we did with the lightning, we're going to have, this time we'll add lives to it. And we kind of, we can go to events. When this is clicked, when the green flag is clicked, we want this to forever happen. If the bird is touching, or the heart is touching the bird, we're going to go to parrot. Then we have to go back to our data. We want to change the lives, right? But we want them to be not negative. We want them to be positive. So we'll leave it positive. And we can play a sound. So we're going to do play sound until done. Oops. And you can change that sound to whatever sound you want it to be. I think, let's do a fairy sound. That sounds good. So then, oops. Or we can keep it the drum. Okay, so that's fine. And then we'll hide it again. So every time the bird and the heart are touching, oops, there we go. We got our live. So now, we're going to add another sprite for points. And this is kind of neat. It's almost just like the other one, except for this time, we're going to create a new variable, data, or score. Now we can change the score. We're going to actually copy this script over because we're going to end up using it again, just like the lightning. Except for we're going to make it to change the score. So if the parrot is touching the ball, the score will change to 1. But just like the heart, you want it to be doing the exact same thing. Appearing in the sky, going right to left. But we want it to probably be more often than that. So we're going to change it to 15 seconds. And we'll probably make more balls too. And so there's another cool thing you can do in here is just to make it look like it's spinning. You can just have it turn. You can have it go in here forever and turn 15 degrees.